Minister, workers and families are struggling to keep up with sharp increases in grocery costs, and households are being fleeced day in and day out. Food price hikes have hit people's pockets and still show no sign of coming down. Last week, government met with food retailers, and the Taoiseach said that government would have a very stark message to deliver at that meeting. In advance of the meeting, Minister Neil Richmond said that he was preparing a dossier on price gouging and that he would confront retailers with it. We now hear that this did not in fact happen. This meeting was talked up by government but appears to have amounted to nothing. Government tried to paint up the meeting as a big success, but the reality is now clear, and the upshot of it is that nothing has changed for consumers who continue to face these crippling costs. There was nothing more really than a cosy chat between government and the retailers for the sake of optics, yet another PR exercise to give the impression that government is doing something on extortionate food prices when the truth is government is doing nothing at all. Last week, Minister, I and others raised the question of profiteering and price gouging by food retailers here in the Dáil with the Taoiseach, and he dismissed that idea out of hand. But incredibly, he then went on national television and said that there was in fact evidence of profiteering. Now, the place to raise profiteering by food retailers was not in a television interview, but in the meeting with the retailers on Wednesday, face to face. So government now says that there is price gouging. What, Minister, is the government to do about it? Will you publish Minister Richmond's report? Will you give it, or have you given it, to the Competition and Consumer Protection Commission? Last week, we in Sinn Féin put forward a plan that would make a difference to cut food costs for consumers, and you accepted that there were some good things in our plan. One of the proposals was to get the Competition and Consumer Protection Commission to move on price gouging. And I think it's urgent that this now happens, because, Minister, you can't sit on your hands while workers and families pick up the bill. Tá ordu as cuimse imahéir freisanna bia agus tá an rialtas ag sí timpeall ag déanamh foic. Ní laidóigh chomhrá deas le mion díoltóirí bia na freisanna. Ní mór den rialtas idir gabháil díreach a dhéanamh le cinnsiú go gcuirtear costas hábháiltear ar aig I bhur an freisanna leideithe ag an scipéad airgid. Minister, it's time for government to get your act together and deliver for hard-pressed households. The Taoiseach has now said on behalf of government that there's evidence of profiteering. So what's your plan to tackle it? And how will the Competition and Consumer Protection Commission get to grips with price gouging? And tell us, Minister, what other actions government will take in the here and now to get food prices down at the tills? When will consumers actually see prices go down?
Thank you. Minister Humphreys.
Thank you, and thank you, Deputy, for raising this matter. Well, I agree with your first point, and that is food prices have gone up. And any person going in to do their weekly shop, they can see that very clearly. I can see it myself. I was in a shop only yesterday, and I could see where the price of various different items have gone up, and even the price of nappy wipes, they've gone up as well, along with many other things. And you're looking for, maybe the consumers looking for special offers. There's not as many special offers as there were, and there's less items in your basket, and the cost is still higher. And, you know, I recognise that, and that the cost of the weekly shop has gone up. But, you know, you're sort of standing there and you're trying to portray as if government has sat on our hands and we've done nothing, but we have. And that's not the case. We have provided billions of euros in supports last year and this year to help people. And only a couple of weeks ago, my department issued a further €200 lump sum payment to our pensioners, to our carers, to people on disability payments and to those on the work and family payment. And as you know, I'm the Minister for Social Protection, and my priority is to look after our vulnerable groups like our pensioners and our carers. And that's why we had the double payment for our pensioners last year. That's why we had a €500 payment for carers and people with disabilities. And it's why we extended the fuel allowance for the over 70s. And it's why we increased the core social welfare payments by €12. That's the largest increase since 2000. But you know, you have to ask yourself sometimes, Deputy, who pays for this? And I'll tell you who pays for it. The workers of this country. The taxpayers pay for it. The people who get up every day to do their day's work. They pay their taxes. Those are the same people, you know, that you forget about when you come in here and you're calling for more spending here and more spending there. And that's not the way the world works. Somebody has to pay for it. And I want to support the people who pay for everything. And that's why in a couple of weeks we're given a €100 bonus payment to every child on child benefit, and that's on top of the double child benefit that we paid last December. So this government is supporting working families. We're trying to put money back in their pockets, and that's why we cut the income tax rate earlier in January. And yeah, well, I'm getting around to that. I just want to make it very clear what we are doing to help people address the increase in the cost of living. And there's a broad range of measures right across the board, and we have been trying to help people, and we do understand their concerns. But I can tell you, Deputy Neil Richmond, he met the retailers, he got them all into a room, and what's happened since? All of a sudden, we start to hear that some supermarkets are cutting their prices. And some have cut the price of bread, some have cut the price of butter, and we want to see more of that. And on top of that, yeah, you might laugh, but if you're a woman and if you're a grandmother like me, you know why you're buying nappy wipes. You need them if you have a small child. And I think the woman who's getting the extra €100 next month in their child benefit payment, they might appreciate it. So don't be laughing at that. No.
Please, can we have the Minister without
on top of that, Minister Coveney is meeting the Competition and Consumer Protection Commission to discuss the retail sector. And, you know, we can't set prices, you know that. And it's the same last year. Everybody wanted to you know, scaremonger about the price of petrol and diesel. And, you know, the prices are back down now. And this thing can be cyclical, but we absolutely agree with you that you know, the cost of living has gone up, and we are doing everything we can to address it. And as I said, Minister Coveney is meeting with the Competition and Consumer Protection Commission to discuss the retail sector very shortly.
Deputy.
Well, Minister, last year when costs at the pumps skyrocketed, nobody was scaremongering. That was a reality that every person experienced when they went to fill their vehicle. So you and I are in agreement. I do my weekly shop as well. Sure, we see it with our own eyes, don't we? The evidence of the increased costs. And for people on small or fixed incomes, it's an absolute disaster for them. People are really struggling. We know this. The Taoiseach has said that profiteering is happening. He made that statement, Minister. I want to know, what are you doing about that? I want to know, will you publish the dossier compiled by Minister Richmond? I want to know what is the ask of the Competition and Consumer Protection Commission. Has Minister Richmond's dossier gone to them? You say now that Minister Coveney will meet with them. Is this another chat for the optics, or will this trigger real action? Profiteering and price gouging now, the Taoiseach has said, is a reality. That is not acceptable. What is the government's plan to address that, to get to grips with that, to make it stop?
Thank you.